If you're renting a gateway from Xfinity, but you have your own personal router that you would like to use along with it, maybe it's part of a mesh home Wi-Fi system that provides your home with strong Wi-Fi coverage, or it's your own personal router that you paid a lot of money for and it promises strong performance. Whatever the case might be, fear not, because you should be able to use your personal router with your gateway, and that's exactly what I'll be showing you how to do today. Without further ado, let's dive right into the steps. The steps I'll be showing you today are on my Xfinity XB8 gateway. Keep in mind, if you have a different model of gateway, or if you have an entirely different internet service provider and gateway that they provide you, these steps should be pretty much the same, so hopefully you'll still be able to follow along. With that said, the first thing that we need to do is we need to access the advanced settings of our Xfinity Gateway. To do that, we first have to enable the admin access tool, and you do that through the Xfinity app. So let's jump over to my phone to access the app. If you haven't already done so, you want to download the Xfinity app. Once you have that downloaded, you want to go into the application. It will prompt you to log in with your email address and password that's associated with your internet plan. So go ahead and do that now. Once you're logged in, this is what it should look like. What we need to access is our Wi-Fi settings. So we'll select the Wi-Fi icon at the bottom. From here, we go to View Wi-Fi Equipment, then Advanced Settings. This page here takes you to the basic settings that you can change with your Xfinity app. Using your personal router with your gateway, however, is an advanced setting, so we can't make that change here. What we need to do is we want to go to Gateway Admin tool here at the bottom. And then you want to select that switch to turn it on. This basically gives us the ability to go into the advanced settings of our gateway, which we can access through an internet browser. But for now, we want to hit save. One thing to make note of is here on this page, it will tell you how to access the advanced settings of your gateway. I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to do that on my laptop, so let's jump over there now. Okay, the first thing we need to do to access our gateway's advanced settings is open an internet browser, so let's do that. On the Gateway Admin tool, in the instructions that it showed, it said to access HTTP 10.0.0.1, so let's type that in. On this page, we can log into our gateway's advanced settings. To do that, under username, we type admin. And this next part's a little bit confusing for the password. What you have to do is look at the bottom of your gateway device. There'll be an informational sticker that lists the default Wi-Fi name and password for this gateway. This obviously isn't what we're accessing here. We're accessing the advanced settings of your gateway, but this default password will work to help you get signed in. I had a little bit of trouble with this, I admit, finding out that this is what you needed to use, but use the password that's listed on this device and you should be able to get in. Now that you're in your advanced settings, the change you need to make is actually really easy. Right here it says bridge mode. We want to enable that. We'll get a warning, and what this basically tells you is that when you put your gateway into bridge mode, it basically disables the router functionality of this device. So what you need to do here, you need to select OK, and this will turn off the router functionality of your gateway, and we can move forward with implementing your personal router with this device. Here it says it'll take a little while to implement bridge mode, so we're going to wait for that to complete before moving on. Once bridge mode is fully enabled, you'll see that this web page for your gateway's advanced settings no longer loads. The reason for that is that's because this device is no longer providing router functionality. So basically, you don't have access to the internet until you set up your personal router. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now that your gateway's in bridge mode, we can connect it to your personal router. The first step here, and it's a really important one, is to disconnect the power from your Xfinity Gateway and leave it powered down for a matter of a few minutes, maybe up to 5 minutes. So you'll disconnect the power cable here. Your gateway will lose power, and now let's wait 5 minutes and then we'll pick up the next step. The next thing we need to do is connect our gateway and our personal router with an Ethernet cable. What I have to do, I have an Ethernet cable here. There are 2 open ports on the back of my router. I can select either one of these, and the reason for that is because this is a mesh Wi-Fi device. I'll use this port right here, connect the Ethernet cable to it. One thing to keep in mind, if you have a different router that's not a mesh device, for example, on the back of your router, you will have one Ethernet port that's different than the others. this will be labeled the WAN port. That's the port you want to connect your Ethernet cable to if you're going to be connecting it to your gateway. Once you've done that, you take the other end of the Ethernet cable, and on the back of your gateway, there are a bunch of Ethernet ports. The one I recommend you connect your Ethernet cable to is the one, if it has an orange line next to it, that's the one you want to connect to. So here we're going to take this Ethernet port, connect it to that port, and we're all set. Let's move on to the next step, where we basically just need to provide power to our devices. Now that our gateway and our router are connected with an Ethernet cable, what we need to do is we need to power our gateway back on. You basically just take the power cable, you unplug. Here on the back of the device is the power port. You just connect this here, and then you wait a few minutes for your gateway to boot up. Here your gateway is going through the boot process. You want to wait until this is a steady status light. So again, we'll give it a few minutes. Okay, now we're getting that steady status light from our gateway. And now the last step, what we need to do is connect the power to our personal router. So here you just take the power adapter for your router. You take one end, it should be pretty self-explanatory. There's one power port on the back of this device. We're going to connect it, and then we'll plug in this personal router, and then we'll wait for this to boot up as well. You'll see the status lights on your router go through the boot up process. Again, we'll give it a few minutes and wait for this to be steady state. After a few minutes, the lights on your router will reach steady state, and at this point your router should be working. If you haven't set up your router before, it should be broadcasting the default network name that's listed on a sticker on the device. Otherwise, if you previously set up your router, it will be broadcasting the Wi-Fi network that you chose for this device. One thing I recommend, now that your router is working properly, try to get a couple devices connected to the Wi-Fi network that your router is broadcasting. If you have trouble getting your personal router connected to your Xfinity Gateway, one thing you should try is you should perform a factory reset of your gateway before running through all the steps that I showed you today. In order to perform a factory reset, there's a button on the back. You hold it for 30 seconds. This will basically reboot your gateway with its factory settings. Then you can run through all the steps that we previously ran through, then connect your personal router, and you shouldn't have any problems. At this point, there's another thing I need to mention, and it's the fact that with this setup, your Xfinity Gateway is basically just serving as a modem in your home network. What I recommend is you go ahead and buy your own personal modem to replace your gateway. That way you're not paying money on a monthly basis to rent this device that's only serving half of its purpose anyway if it's only serving as a modem. By buying your own modem, you'll save money in the long run, and on top of that, you'll get more performance out of your modem compared to this ISP equipment. If this video helped you set up your own personal router with your Xfinity Gateway, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video. That way it gets shared with other people who might benefit from this resource as well. And as always, thanks for checking out this episode from Network from Home, and we'll catch you on the next one.